Greetings and salutations, denizens. It is I, Wolfphototech, and here we go with a little fun review of Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition Essentials Starter Set, or Dungeons & Dragons Essentials 4th Edition Starter Set. This is one of those weird cases where Wizards of the Coast really had this... Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition is this really messed up era in Wizards of the Coast history. So, here we go. There is important detail about on the back here. There is multiple dice here. Colors may vary, components shown on package, not actual size. So they have already told you that the stuff is not, the imagery you got on the back of the dice and other stuff is not entirely accurate as far as colors are concerned. This is the starter set for Dungeons & Dragons 4 Essentials, which is a variant off of Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition. Pull out my big old RuneQuest Steve box slipcase, and let's open. This one is actually a very nice lift off cover. Boop. Not treated yet again. That's a common trend with Wizards of the Coast starter sets. They don't ever seem to treat their starter set boxes. Yeah, there's that weird consistency detail. You have the basic set of dice. There is no... By the way, these are my lucky dice. If I ever have to go to a game to play with someone in person, I use these dice because this is the only set of dice that has not been infected by my dice curse. And it rolled all low numbers. But anyways, this is the Player's Handbook. This is a handy-dandy little book that gives you the basic overview of how to play Dungeons & Dragons Essentials, or which is a simplified, more streamlined, refined version of Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition. You have a lot of really nice artwork in this book, as you can see. This is basically the Dungeons & Dragons system where they, as a lot of people put, video gamified it. However, unlike most people, I realize that all Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons are video games. This is just the one that stopped giving a rat's ass and decided, hey, I'm just going to literally freaking tell you I'm a video game in a tabletop. This is probably... They probably could have gone with Dungeons & Dragons Tactics for this edition. Or editions. There's this handy-dandy section that goes over all your points. And it just goes through the whole thing. This, by the way, is a choose-your-own-adventure book. This teaches you how to play Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition, which is, interesting enough, something that Chaosium does with its Call of Cthulhu and RuneQuest. I never actually used this book before, and I'm paging through it, and it clicks to me that this is actually a choose-your-own-adventure book. So this book teaches you how to play Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition by giving you a single-player adventure. And then this one right here is your Game Master's book. And it basically describes all the mechanics and the basic encounters for an adventure when you're running it for multiple players. As well as the rules for cover and everything else. This book, by the way, is 64 pages. The same size as Spelljammer 5th edition books. You have some character sheets. These are the Essentials character sheets. Super simplified, super quick. And then in here there happens to be some printed ones that someone at some point printed off and put in here, as well as some blank paper for printing more. And then you have this handy dandy sheet right here that shows you off all the stuff for Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition Essentials set or series. So that's all the Game Master stuff, and this is all the player stuff. Technically, Dungeons & Dragons Essentials is compatible with Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition. However, Essentials is a little more power crept than 4th edition and more streamlined. Then you have this delightful big butt map. That has a wilderness scene on it. It actually has two. And then it goes inside into the cave. And then you have a underground dungeon map. And then you have this stupid, I don't know what, oh, yeah. You have this really dumb barrier sheet, this angle piece right here. But if you notice, there's stuff in behind it. You have your monster tokens. I love monster tokens. These are handy dandy for all your monster needs. You can set them down on the map and move them around. You could see, everyone could see where the tokens are, and they don't obstruct any of the scenery. And this is actually an extremely cheap and effective way of marking your maps with your games. This is very much in line with what a lot of BTTs use online. And then you have your cards for all your characters. So all the pre-made characters here, all their abilities or powers are on these cards. And they're all labeled. This one is labeled Fighter in the top corner. Another Fighter card. Then you got Cleric cards. You got low-level ones, and you just continue through. I probably should. There's Wizard ones, and Magic Missile, and so forth. Then you got Magic Item cards, which have information on the magic item in the back. It's really hard to read the cards on the camera. But then you also have daily powers, which basically is a power you can use once a day. And encounter powers. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition does have at-will, daily, and encounter powers, or at-will, encounter, and daily powers. However, they are spaced out and mechanically constructed slightly differently in wording to Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition. Just enough that it's not an immediate one-to-one. So, yeah. The Ziploc bags are not original. That came with the set when I bought it secondhand. So you don't get Ziploc bags if you ever buy this. As a set as a whole, this set is actually rather nice. However, it doesn't really give you a whole lot. The adventure in the Dungeon Master's book is only levels 1 to 2. Only 2 levels. So, my best dice came out of this set. I can tell you that much. The map is nice. You got some decent handouts. The player sheets are clear and clean as can be. So there's not a whole lot of fussy details on them. Space waste and whatnot. So it's actually quite efficient overall design. They have this weird angle thing in the back that puts everything on an angle. So, yeah. There isn't a whole lot of amazing stuff in here. This is maybe a pretty decent Dungeons and Dragons or WotC-esque starter set. But yet again, as with all WotC starter sets, it's way under par for most TTRPG game systems starter sets. This is yet again kind of like a 2.75 starter set. There isn't a whole lot of awesome things with this starter set. It gives you enough information. It shows you all the stuff you need if you want to go immediately into a full game of Dungeons & Dragons Essentials or Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition 2.0. But it doesn't really give you a whole lot of running room. The adventure is only for 1 to 2 levels, which is really scant in itself. You basically get the bare minimum number of dice. You get just a few character sheets, no cheat sheets, no game master screen. Yeah, this is like a 2.75. So this is another situation where Wizards of the Coast was kind of cheap. It's nice that they include the power cards in this set. Just the basic ones for your beginning characters. But that's basically it. You don't have a whole lot of options. You really have to hunt really have to hunt down the actual power card sets to truly get at the Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition Dungeons & Dragons Essentials experience. Other than that, this is not a terribly amazing set. If they skimped any more on this set, like they didn't include the power cards or the tokens, I'm like, this is down the 2-star territory. This is 2 stars. But it's a 2.75 stars because this is WotC being cheap, but not being terribly cheap. They do truly give you something to start you with. They just don't give you very much to start with. They really don't. They don't give you very much to start with. They just give you just enough, just a taste, like that monkey in the desert with the water hole drying up. It's wee tiny, and there happens to be a crocodile right there, and you're looking at it, and it's like you're the monkey. You want to drink out of the water. You're either going to start dehydrate to death, or go over there and get really close to that crocodile, and hope you can get just enough water to survive and not get eaten, which actually makes it sound far more terrible. But still, it's like if you really wanted to play Dungeons & Dragons Essentials, this is like a good starting point. It's just not amazing. If they like literally released a second set like this that had a bunch more a longer adventure, I would like, that's the set to go to. This set, just throw it in the dumpster. But no, this set is actually pretty good, and this set actually has my lucky dice in it. This is where I got my lucky dice out of. The dice that don't betray me every second of every day. And everything is under a 10 I just rolled. A 1, a 2, a 4, a 6, a 6, a 3. Fuck you. Fuck you, dice. I have cursed dice. Oh my goodness. I hope everyone got a laugh out of that. But anyways, yeah, that's the Dungeons & Dragons Essentials. Dungeons & Dragons Essentials 4th Edition starter set. It's a 2.75 star. It could easily be falling down lower. And if there was another Dungeons & Dragons Essentials 4th Edition set that had just anything a bit more than that, that would actually go farther down in the score. It only has its score where it is because it's like the only option. Oh, I forgot a sheet to throw in there. Their advertisement for their dead service. There you go. It's not terribly great. The next one is going to be this, the original Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition set for the original Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition. So, Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it and consider subscribing. And have a delightful day, a nice night, and a wonderful week. And see you next time.